Hey everyone, welcome to Cupboard Creations. My name is Gareth and this is my little corner of the internet for playing with my food. Today I'm going to do something quite special for you, which I did over Christmas. Working on it for a little while. This is my smoked salmon pate. I suppose you could call it a pate or a rillette. And we're going to create something that looks really nice and attractive for this one. So bear with me. It takes a few little steps, but it really is well worth doing at the end. It's really cracking. So I'm going to start nice and easy. You need some smoked salmon. Now, you got a choice here. If you can get it, 200 grams of hot smoked salmon is perfect. If you can't get hot smoked salmon, grab yourself 200 grams of smoked salmon, and then we can whip over and fry it up just for a couple of seconds. Brilliant. So we've got our salmon here. So 200 grams of smoked salmon. Now this is great because some supermarkets will do like that salmon trimmings where they're already ripped apart. Use them. Much cheaper, and you want it ripped apart. It's literally going to take a few seconds, about 30 seconds. So in a hot pan, just dump all your salmon in. Just keep stirring it until it's essentially gone opaque, kind of changed colour. And the reason we do this is because if you try and make a pate with just smoked salmon, it's going to be far too gelatinous. So you want that kind of hot smoked salmon feel where that texture's got a little bit more bite to it. Now what you could do, of course, is use roasted salmon for this. It will have a much lighter flavour then, but it will work and it will taste really nice. But I like the real kind of hit of smoked salmon. So there we go, we're getting there. No need for oil when you're doing this, dry frying pan. Okay, that's all done. Just changed texture, perfect. Pop that off. And we can just pop that on a plate quickly and then get over and put it all together. Okay, so that salmon's done. Now while that's just cooling down for a bit, because we don't want to do this with like hot salmon, hot smoked salmon, but not hot salmon, we're just going to put together some of the other bits. So you're going to want dill. Dill and salmon go so well together. You want enough to make sort of probably 2 tablespoons once it's all chopped down, which looks about like that. So good handful. I'm just going to roughly chop that, pop it in our blender. Lovely. Then to that, we're going to add some cornichons. So, or pickled gherkins basically. And again, you want enough to make about 2 tablespoons if you were chopped down. So I'm probably going to use 4 of these. And again, just chop them down. I'm looking at it now going, it's not 4. We go with 6. Just give them a brief chop down and then pop them in. Right, now that's in there. Lemon juice. So you don't want a huge amount here, only a tablespoon worth, so it's probably going to be a core of a lemon. We're just going to squeeze that in. And then dig all the pips out that I've just thrown in there. Come here, come, no. There we go, pips out. So yeah, basically put your hand under it when you're doing it. Then you've got somewhere for the pips to go. So that should be enough there. I've got another one. Okay, definitely going well. So, next thing you want, once you're done with the cornichons, horseradish. Beautiful with salmon. So you want 1 heaped teaspoon of horseradish in there. You can be as generous as you like. Really, it's all down to how much of it you enjoy. And use the creamed horseradish for this one, just because I'll put a little bit more in. Sorry. Just because it mellows down a little bit more. Because you're not cooking it or anything like that, if you're using just the full-on horseradish, it can be a little bit too much. So we pop that in there. Lovely. And that's all good. So now, last thing, well, before the salmon goes in, cream cheese. Now, I'm using a light soft cheese for this because I like it. You can use full fat one, give it a little bit more decadence if you want, but I'm trying to lose a little bit of the Christmas pounds here. So for this, about 80 grams, which is about 3 heaped teaspoons. And that's good. You can already see how this is going to work with that cheese, horseradish, cornichons, dill. It's all things that go lovely together. So now all you've got to do, pop your salmon in. Right, there we go, all in. So now to just get a little bit noisy. There we go. So that's all done. Let's give it a little taste. Delicious. For me, a little bit of black pepper. Don't know why. Anytime if I'm having like smoked salmon and cream cheese bagels or something like that, always like lots of black pepper in it. So give it a taste and see where you feel. So we go, a little bit of that. I'm just going to put in a tiny bit of salt, not much. 2 very small pinches. And then we'll just whiz that through. Perfect. Yeah, got that little bit of heat coming in there. Lovely. Great. So that's most of that done now. That's essentially, that's your pate. Got it done. So all we're going to do now, clean up a little bit. When I come back, I'm going to show you how to just give it that little bit extra when it comes to presentation. So, catch you in a bit. Right, so now for the delicate bit. Before I do this, just want to say, if you're enjoying the videos, please drop us a like. Or if you haven't subscribed, if you could subscribe to the channel, it would really, really help me out. More people that like, subscribe, comment, that sort of thing, just helps the videos get out there. Really appreciated. And we'll crack on. So the first thing I've done is just put a layer of cling film, kind of like 1 square over my board. Did that off camera because I am terrible with cling film. Takes a few tries, I can tell you that. So all we're going to do now is we're going to lay another 100 grams of smoked salmon, not hot smoke this time, and then just try and make like a little rectangle. You'll see what you probably guessed because you'll have seen the thumbnail, what I'm going to do with it. So we're going to create like an outer layer of smoked salmon, put the pate in the middle, and then that way we can slice it into these beautiful little rings. So there we go, we've got it. Takes a little bit of doing. You just want as close as you can get to a nice sort of square or rectangle. Doesn't really matter about the size of it. So if you've got yours is quite long and thin, you're just going to end up with thinner slices, or not thinner slices, but smaller slices. If it's quite thick, then you're going to end up with larger rounds. You're going to serve the same amount to people regardless. It's just going to be the difference between whether they get 2 or 3. So once you've got that, don't worry too much about little holes or anything like that. If you're gentle with it, it won't matter. The stuff will hold together anyway. It's just to give it a nice look on the outside. Right, so now you've got that, it's time to just spoon your pate into the middle. Here we go. And this should be exactly the right amount of pate if you follow the 200 grams to 100 grams to kind of fit this perfectly. You might have a little bit left over, but oh, it's a shame, isn't it? Just have to have a quick little bit of a chef's piece before it gets served. Okay, so that's great. Now all we've got to do is roll that up. So just grab your cling film, wrap it over. Oh, trying to keep any bits that stick to the cling film back on top. And then we can tighten that across. There we go. You might end up with the odd little gap. Don't worry, as I say, it will squeeze through. Just get it as covered as you can so you're looking like that. And then squeeze it together. Tuck one side in. Tuck the other side over. Keeping it tight as you roll it. And then when you grab the ends, and then give it a roll backwards and forwards. tightening it as you go. So you've got those ends there, and you should probably end up like me with a slightly off-centered sausage shape. That doesn't matter, I'll eat the thick end. But there you can see, should hold together. And then once you've got that done, tuck those bits underneath. Okay, so now I've got that, pop it in the fridge for about an hour, at least an hour. What that will do is that cream cheese that's in there will kind of solidify back again. Where you've been handling it and mixing it with the other ingredients, it's warmed up a little bit. So we'll just keep that as tight as we can. There we go, here another roll. And then whack that in the fridge, and I'll see you back here in an hour. Okay, so we're back, and that's done. That's had an hour now in the fridge, and that's firmed up. You can feel it's still soft, but you want soft. You want pate that you don't have to like slice. So now we're just going to unroll that very, very gently. Now it's time to slice it. Now to do this, you're just going to want a good, sharp, heavy bladed knife. And the best thing to do is keep that knife wet. Same as if you're doing something like sushi, whatever. If it's wet, what it will do, yes, it will slice through like this, but then what can often happen is it will drag and it will pull the stuff away. So if you keep that knife wet while you're cutting it, then you should get some pretty decent slices. And there we go. Perfect. I might roll this completely off. Then again, because it smears, you can see on the knife, you've got all that smear on it. Just keep that knife damp for each cut, and it should slice through it really well. Brilliant. So there we go. That is my smoked salmon pate. It's looking really good. I've got a couple of little end bits for myself as well left over, which is great. And it's got so much flavour. You can just serve it like this or serve individual pieces. That's great. It's so strong with that smoked salmon, and that's why I like using smoked salmon. Yes, it makes it more expensive than using just normal plain roasted salmon, but you get so much bang for your buck. You don't need to serve huge amounts of it to people. 2 of those each, be absolutely perfect. So there we go. That is my smoked salmon pate. Perfect as a starter, or just in like a huge kind of party platter of stuff. Make it well in advance as well. You can leave that in the fridge before you slice it for days. 2 days easily, and you'll be fine. Everything you're using in there is already preserved pretty much. So there it is. I hope you give it a go. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.